to the 2014-15 school year. For 120 of you students, this is year 1 at SEM. For the other 320 of you, this could be anywhere between year 2 to 14. And as Mr. Harvey has just told you, this is year 33 for me. Old schools like ours cling to traditions, but if they're going to remain relevant and vibrant, they need to change with the times. I thought it might be fun to compare the school now to what it was like in 1982, my first year at SEM. Yes, I know 1982 seems like ancient history. In 1982, of course, none of you students were born yet, and probably most of your parents weren't even married yet. But remember, our school was already 138 years old in 1982 when I arrived. It was a much smaller school then. There were about 300 students, including about 200 day students and about 100 boarders, versus the 440 that start today. Perhaps the single biggest difference between then and now was the lack of diversity in 1982. I pulled out my first yearbook, the class of 1983, and I discovered out of a class of 90 seniors, 75 were from Pennsylvania, 10 were from the adjoining states of New Jersey, New York, and Maryland, and the last 5 came from Florida, Maine, Virginia, Alabama, and Louisiana. Notice, there were no international students. Obviously, today is very different, with 120 international students from 24 countries. The faculty has also grown. There were only 33 teachers in 1982 versus 56 teachers today. Of the 32 teachers who welcomed me in 1982, only 4 remain: Ms. Klasner, Mrs. Voyko, Mr. James Kersey, and Mr. Viter. Obviously, there's been lots of changes. The campus in 1982 had the same core of buildings, but there have been major changes to them, both inside and outside. Sprague was enlarged in the back, the 3rd floor was completely redone, and just this summer, some major changes in the 1st floor created a new space for college guidance. Just for the record, when I came, there was only 1 person in college guidance. There were no class deans and no dean of residential life. Obviously, as the student body has grown, the administration has had to grow with it. Swetland, Dart, and Fleck were covered with ivy when I arrived. The brickwork was dark, the windows were old, the furniture was worn, the dining hall was not air conditioned, and the dining area was smaller. Day students had to pay for their lunch each day. A major renovation of the dining hall, the restoration of the brickwork, new windows, new furniture has completely changed the appearance and functionality of the Swetland Fleck Dart complex. Carpenter Hall looked the same on the outside when I arrived in 1982, but much has been done to spruce up the inside. In 1982, the 4th floor was empty. There were no students in Carpenter Hall on the 4th floor. Now it's filled with students. The Buckingham Performing Arts Center was relatively new in 1982 and easily held the entire school community. Today, we are days away from using the brand new Kirby Performing Arts Center, which once again can hold the entire school community. The library in 1982 was book-centered with no technology. Today, it's student-centered with lots of technology, thanks to a major renovation a few years ago. Nesbitt Hall was old and tired in 1982. There were numerous problems with the electricity and the ventilation. A major renovation in the mid-80s improved the building tremendously. The athletic fields have also changed dramatically with the addition of Plasner Field, the total revision of Nesbitt Stadium, and the addition of the Lowell Tennis Center. Back in 1982, field hockey and softball were still played on the back campus. There was little in the way of a weight room and no cardio equipment at all. We've added several sports since 1982. Girls soccer, boys and girls cross country, boys and girls ice hockey, boys and girls lacrosse have all been added since I came. In 1982, the field hockey team went 4-4-4, a far cry from the recent teams that have won 3 out of the 4 last state championships. In 1982, the wrestling team had 6 boys and lost to Blair 63-0. Obviously, the times have changed for the better there, too. In 1982, we were not yet part of the PIAA, which meant that even our best athletes had no opportunity to go on to the state-level competition. In terms of our academic program, it was a very strong program with dedicated and caring teachers when I arrived, but we taught many fewer courses, especially at the AP level. AP Government, AP US History, AP European History, AP Psychology, AP Music, Creative Spirit, AP Studio Art have all been added since 1982. My first year was also the first year for AP Chemistry. In foreign languages, we offered French, Spanish, Latin, and German, but only French and Latin were taught at the AP level when I arrived. Since then, German was dropped in the 1980s, Russian was added in the 90s, Mandarin was just added last year. The math curriculum was changed a lot at the upper levels. When I came, there was only one level each of pre-calculus and calculus. Today, there are 2 levels of pre-calculus and 3 levels of calculus, and there is even the opportunity to go beyond calculus. In 1982, many more students stopped at Algebra 2. The English curriculum has probably changed the least, but it now includes many more works from the late 20th century than back in the 1980s. Among the biggest changes on campus are in the use of technology. In 1982, only a few students and a few teachers had desktop computers, which were used strictly for word processing. There was no internet, no laptops, no iPads, no iPods, no cellular phones, no smart boards, no graphing calculators. A very different world than today. The non-sports extracurriculars have also multiplied dramatically. There was no Model UN, no mock trial, and no science research group in 1982. The choral music program and theater programs were excellent when I arrived, but there was no instrumental music program, and Mrs. Voyko was just starting the dance program. There was some big difference in campus life. Every day was a dress-up day. There were sit-down family-style meals Monday through Thursday night and Sunday lunch, and they were dress-up also. Clearly, SEM has changed dramatically in my 33 years. If you are going to make the most of this school, you too must be open to change and be willing to take some risk. Take advantage of the tremendous diversity of the student body. Explore the curriculum. Sample the incredible variety of courses that we offer. Learn how to make the most of today's technology. Be part of the wonderful athletic and extracurricular programs that we offer. The opportunities are there for you to have an exciting and productive year here. Be sure to bring passion and enthusiasm to all that you do. Thank you, and have a great year.